You know, some segments of some of these mainstream media shows, basically are funny, and I guess they are done for comedy, entertainment purposes. Megyn Kelly is going to start off this particular segment with Howard Stern, who's a flippin' idiot. But yeah, if you like Howard Stern, God bless you. But then she's going to bring on two women that are going to debate about AR-15s, and the quote unquote gun nut, pro gun person, okay, starts talking crazy, and she really doesn't know a lot about what she's, basically discussing. So anyway, I'm going to play this segment from Megyn Kelly. She's going to start off with Howard Stern's comments about Orlando, and I'm going to probably interject a couple of things along the way.
Tonight, radio star Howard Stern offering an impassioned response to those calling for stricter gun laws in the wake of the atrocity in Orlando.
I'm so upset about Orlando and what went down, but I can't believe these people come out afterwards and their answer to Orlando is to take away guns from the public. It's mind-blowing to me. The terrorists all had AR-15s, they have Glocks, they have every kind of pistol.
They got missile launchers.
They got missile launchers. And so now let's use the analogy of sheep. Why would the sheep say, oh, we got an answer to all the terrorism, all these bad wolves that are coming after us? We'll hand in all our guns. We're going to hand them in.
All right. See, now that's bullshit, because basically what they're saying is you want to prevent guys that shouldn't have them from getting them. Has anybody said anything about handing in guns? Now, for those of you that are fairly knowledgeable, the state of Connecticut had a program, okay, where they were requiring people to turn in clips and various guns. That, in fact, is true, but it was challenged in court, and it was found to be unconstitutional. So if that particular case was found to be unconstitutional, anybody, any other state that attempts to do this, it would be assumed, that I know that makes an ass out of me and you, that the same conclusion would be reached, and it would be appealed, hopefully appealed up to the Supreme Court, and hopefully they have a ninth judge up there by the time it gets there, and they make a decision, that if you have it legally, then you get to keep it because it's your property. But again, that's what this particular segment is about. You want to stop the wolves from getting the guns, and obviously you want the sheep, i.e. people that are legal, to be able to protect themselves from the wolves. Easiest way to do that, again, is to stop the wolves from getting the guns. Okay, here comes the next segment that she comes off of.
I think the answer doesn't lie in taking any kind of ability of the sheep to protect themselves from the wolves.
Dana Lash is host of Dana on the Blaze TV, and Mickey Const is host of The Filter on Sirius XM.
Okay, Dana Lash is the lady that's on the left, and she's the one that's fairly clueless.
Let me start with you, Namiki. That's the thing, let me just put up this cartoon, which sort of says what Stern was trying to say, these three cartoons. This is the point people make it all along. Can't you read? This is a gun-free zone. The guy is saying to the terrorists, dang, now what do we do? The two terrorists say as they see the gun-free zone. The point is, who's going to be respectful of the gun-free zone laws other than the law-abiding citizens?
There's been tremendous research behind this. The FBI famously published a report on this, and it stated that 3%, in only 3% of the cases where the good guy with a gun goes after an active shooter, they actually hit that guy. And it's usually somebody who has tremendous background and training in active shooters.
But you know the response to that. If you were in that bathroom that night and that shooter was in there with his guns, you would have preferred to have been armed.
Okay, so and the lady on the right is correct. If you have training, I mean serious training, and in some cases advanced training, and you keep your training up, obviously you have a much better chance, if you are carrying a gun, to be able to use it properly. Most people with guns do not take training. So what I will say at this point is, in the case where you had that shooter in Orlando, and if a bunch of people had guns in there, more than likely you would have had possibly the same number of casualties. The difference would have been those casualties would have been inflicted by the people who had the guns if they did not have training. Okay, if they did not have training. Yes, the gunmen more than likely would have been forced to retreat if the people who had the guns were able to acquire the target and bring fire upon the target. But remember, you got a lot of other people that are all around this guy. So more than likely, you'd have had innocent bystanders hit if they had sent fire downrange. Okay? Now, they've also done studies, and I've seen them, where they had people that had firearms, concealed carries, etc., and armed shooters, and again, this was just a situation where the person who had the weapon was just carrying it, and they did not inform them of what the actual exercise was going to be. And when the armed shooters came into their environment, only one of them was able to accurately return fire. A lot of them didn't even get their guns out of their holsters. So, but anyway, let's continue.
So generally what happens is it's more often than not that somebody who attacks the shooter physically with an object, something large, actually gets it. And that's because of stress. You know, your eyes, and you're under stress. Humans are incapable of hitting a target. They're more likely to hit somebody else. And that's the FBI's own research. I mean, that's their study.
Yeah, and that's true, because what happens is the person that's going to do the shooting, they are not assuming that they're going to be attacked in any way, shape, manner, or form. Once they come under attack, their fight or flight reflex kicks in, i.e. stress, and they are nowhere near as accurate as far as using their weapon, acquiring the attacking target, and they've shown that. But Megyn she's not buying it. Anyway, here we go.
Yeah, I have a different conclusion based on the super expensive report that Barack Obama commissioned in 2013 that talked about defensive gun use. And in fact, the CDC determined that concealed carry and firearms, it's a great deterrent to crime. I tell you what, I want to have a fighting chance because criminals don't pay attention to gun-free zones. And Megyn, Howard Stern, it's almost like I just became best friends with Howard Stern right there. It's like a stepbrother thing.
I think he read your book.
All right. Now, she's right as far as criminals paying attention to gun-free zones. Okay, but just the knowledge that people can conceal carry, and here in Texas, where they now have open carry, you don't have a lot of that because you don't know if somebody is concealed carrying or not. Now, I prefer concealed carry to open carry because I don't want to let anybody know, you know, what's going on with me. So just in case something does go down, they don't know where to concentrate first. So that obviously would give me a chance in order to assess the situation, seek cover, and then send fire towards whoever the perpetrator was. But you got to be careful there too. All right, because again, unless you practice, stress kicks in, and what you want to happen may not happen.
Right. So one more thing
No,
to
Mickey,
note
the
about
thing
that.
is, like, okay, so the studies are great, but like then you're kind of looking at Dana and saying, you know, our studies trump your needs and your belief about what's best for yourself. Give us your gun.
Well, it's not about giving us your gun. It's about expanding background
Yes,
checks.
it
You
is.
know, no, Dana, it's not. No one's
Yes,
saying.
it is. You're talking about banning the
Dana, don't tell
AR-15
me.
by calling.
Banning weapons is not give us your guns. It just means that those particular weapons can no longer be sold. There's no talk about anybody turning in their guns at this moment. Now that could change, but as of right now, there's no talk about give us your gun. So she's making a false statement there.
A weapon of war and control
It's
16 or
an
M4. No, it's not, because
Okay, and yes, an AR-15 is a weapon of war. Even the people who, the person who came up with the AR-15, it was originally designed for the military in order for them to have an advantage over the AK-14. The original owner said it, and he has passed, and his family has said it. So it's a weapon of war. And you, Miss on the left, are absolutely wrong.
Hang on. Give me a second,
Let me ask you
Dana.
that. We're short on time today, but Dana, why does the AR-15 and guns like that? Why do those need to be out there?
Yeah.
well, the AR-15 it's a 22. I mean, if you're
That is such bullshit. The AR-15 is not a 22. That just tells me that this lady doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. You know, you could survive, a 22s. I mean, you really got to be hit in a really vital spot with a 22. Obviously, a headshot, a shot to vital organs. But if you get hit with a 223 or a 5.56 round, that round is going to do some serious damage, and it's more than likely going to incapacitate you if the shot is put on target. So she doesn't know what she's talking about.
actually do, in fact, if I was actually going to go after a bad guy in my house, I'm not going to grab my AR-15. I'm going to grab my shotgun, or I'm going to grab my Glock.
Exactly. My weapon of choice, if I got a chance, is to grab my shotgun. That shotgun is basically going to send a spread. So even in a stressful situation, if you can at least get it pointed in the right direction, you are going to be able to hopefully stop that intruder. You turn around and try to grab an AR-15 and hit somebody with it. You're talking about one at a time.
I grab something a little bit, a little bit more serious.
So I have
Here's
them.
the
They're
thing.
killing machines.
Women, this is a war on women because the AR-15 is the
Now it's a war on women. This lady's all over the place. Jesus.
most popular rifle with women. You're
Oh,
talking
come
about
on,
disarming
Dana.
women,
These talking
and you're
points are
talking
ridiculous.
about misidentifying
Dana, very
rifle
simple.
and
Let
acting
me
like
say
it's
one
a
thing.
Dana,
Dana,
because you're just
one,
I'm sorry, I
no,
gotta go.
Dana,
I'm out of
one
time.
thing.
They're so good. I apologize.
Yeah, Dana doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground. Except she was right about that shotgun. If you got a choice between an AR-15 and a shotgun inside your house, you want a shotgun. No ifs, ands, or buts.